All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spring Valley, I guess. This, you'll probably recognize it. This is a city I've had for a while. I didn't build it, but man, it's been a useful testing and filming city for all this vanilla sort of stuff that I've been working on. Anyway, hi! I don't quite know how many people are here right now. 5 or so, cool. Hopefully some more people will trickle in, and we can get started. I don't have a ton of time to spend before I'm just gonna pass out because I've been so excited all day. I didn't sleep very well, because obviously, as you can tell from all the content coming up today, today was the end of the embargo, so we can finally start talking about and showing off the new content that's coming on Tuesday, which includes Vehicles of the World, which is my largest ever city skyline project. It's crazy. Well, that I had to tackle all at once. That way it was, almost 7 days a week of 9 to 5, 2 months long. So that's been what's been keeping me busy lately. So, all right, cool. Before we start, I'm just gonna kind of, I bet I can do this. I can do the dramatic camera, and there we go, perfect. We can just keep this on, and I'll start talking, start answering some questions, things. We'll give a couple minutes or so for people to come on in, and then we'll take a look one by one of all the vehicles. Forgive the recently burned down parts of the city. I have to keep fires on so I can actually show you guys the fire engines that are included in the pack. So, thanks. Lots of places burned down like crazy. So, anyway, Ben Kerr asks, probably busy, but what happened to Presidio Bay? Well, honestly, this happened. Paradox asked me if I wanted to make Vehicles of the World and work on this pack, and I did, and man, this took up so much time and then made me kind of burn out a little bit from City Skylines, but now that it's being released, it's time to get back on it. So I've been modeling again for some new assets and new things for Presidio Bay. We're finishing up. I've also moved, you can tell from the background, it's different, actually. Living now in Oakland, California, not New York City anymore, so big move. Oh, music is still, that's right. I turned up the music just for the intro and forgot to turn it down, of course. Great job. So, anyway, super busy working on this and moving, and I started a new job. So finally everything's sort of settling in, and aren't going to be any more changes to this pack unless there's something horrifically broken, but nobody's figured that out yet. So it should be good. Don't know why it's showing just this top-down view of this train station. Anyway, cool. So I think we're about ready to go, so let's get started. Obviously, we've got 21 vehicles to look at, and they are all over this city, which will be kind of fun. So figured maybe the best way will just to be kind of go in order. We can keep track of things. So that means if we kind of go in order of these, first one, excitingly, is garbage trucks. So we're going to leave the central business district of the city, and let's head over to some of the areas where the incinerators are, and look at that. Right away, we find one of my favorites from the whole pack. It's a little bit weird, but here we are taking a look at the large garbage truck, which obviously pretty American looking. A lot of people were really salty that I credited this to Chicago in the pack, or in the trailer. Honestly, a lot of the things with the trailer, which was really funny, was that, like, I just had to come up with a city name for most of these. Basically, almost all the vehicles from America, are inspired by everything from Toronto to LA and San Diego, from Seattle, just all over the place. So a lot of people are just like, I don't know if this just froze or not. Am I back? Did it just hang for everybody or just me? I think we're back. Okay. Little hiccup. Strange. Anyway, yes, so somebody says it looks like a waste management truck. Yeah, that's kind of what it's designed to be like. Obviously, these are all kind of hybrids of a whole bunch of designs and a whole bunch of different things from real life. So, you know, even more real life than these waste treatment plants. But we'll figure these out. But yeah, it's really exciting. So I had to kind of look. I know way more about garbage trucks than I would have thought, and I have a lot of like sales brochures and things for garbage trucks on my computer now, which is a little hilarious. So yeah, I mean, these are designed so you can get really up close and see it's like really nice detail. You know, lots of custom stuff. You'll start to see a few numbers and things that are repeated everywhere. 311 is it's my birthday. That was a good number to just come up with and stick on anything. Yeah, frames are a little choppy. Yeah, this is a big city. There's 150,000 people here, so even on my PC, it's been a little bit choppy. And as well, the mod load I'm running is a little closer to vanilla. I think I just threw FPS booster on this earlier today, but my God, sometimes with these bigger cities, it just lags a little. But yeah, so I mean, if we get up close to this truck, yeah, this is where the frames get choppy, is when we're looking over towards the city. But if we get close to the truck and play, hopefully you'll be able to see all these extra lights and reflectors and things all light up. They're all mapped properly, which is kind of exciting because I haven't done a ton of cars and trucks, so I had to learn a lot about how those would work. Obviously, trains, metros, planes, all those sorts of things are my jam. But yeah, so from not only Chicago, but a lot of places around the US, the large garbage truck. This thing actually, by the way, holds, I think, like 3 or 4 times the amount that the base game one holds. So if you guys are having some garbage problems, this is a super good way of doing that. So left mod tools running. Yeah, I have mod tools running. Really important for checking all this stuff. Really important for that. So, you know, having to make sure. And some of these have custom features that I had to use mod tools to implement. So, you know, they're vanilla style and things. So it all just kind of uses vanilla mechanics just in a little bit of a special way. So yeah, you know, big dumpster tipper truck and everything. So hopefully that'll find a place in your city. Now I'll just head back over to that area near the garbage facility to see if I can find, yep, there it is. Look at that, really reliable. The other garbage truck, again, people salty that I said Shanghai specifically, but like, what else am I supposed to do? This is the mini garbage truck, which comes from China, but there's a lot of really similar things from all over the world. I actually, just after moving to Oakland, where I am right now, I saw, like, hilariously, it was like walking through the park, and the park service near me has one of these almost exactly. So, you know, despite the Chinese text on the side, did I freeze again? It keeps flashing and saying I'm offline. I don't know about this at all. Looks like I did freeze again. That's really annoying. I'm sorry. I'll try to get that dealt with. But yeah, so this I saw in California here too. So if you could kind of ignore the text on the side, which just says, you know, it's in Chinese, but it says recycling, like compost and other waste or something like that. It's a really nice kind of small garbage truck. So this is better. Obviously, it can carry a little bit less than the base game one, but is much quicker. So the acceleration of this will actually make it, I want to say will make it do negative traffic, but if it's stuck in a traffic light or whatever, it'll be gone and the person behind can go right away because it's nice and speedy, which is a lot of fun. So nice Easter egg on this. It's a little low res just because of the texture limitations and things. But the badges on a bunch of these vehicles are my new BSQ logo. So that's how you know they're mine, is that you'll see my big stupid logo right on the front proudly. So those are the 2 garbage trucks. I really hope you'll find a use for both of them, and everybody sort of will. They are base game garbage only. So, another vehicle from the back. But they're base game garbage only. So if you're using the recycling from Green Cities or the is it waste transfer services from Sunset Harbor? Unfortunately, these won't work natively on console, and they won't work natively on PC. Somebody might make a mod. It would be great. I haven't talked to anybody, and I'm just kind of thinking about that now. But yeah, it'd be cool to get those working. But anyway, those are the 2 garbage trucks. So next along, we've got healthcare. These are going to be hard to find because this city is sometimes annoyingly healthy, by and large. Oh, wow. Well, I say that, and of course one is right in front of me. Oh, the fly car ambulance from Europe. This is fun, because this is sort of isn't a concept we have here in the US, which is, it's sometimes called a fly car, sometimes called a non-transporting ambulance, and that's basically an ambulance that you can't go for a ride in. You just kind of sit there, and they'll come and they'll treat you, they'll figure out whatever you can do, and then they'll leave, because it's a easy enough thing. So this is based off a bunch of stuff. Again, you can see the BSQ logo. I'm pointing at it with my finger here, but I know you can't see that on the grill. But this is kind of a really nice, sleek car for this. And again, this one is fast, especially in an emergency. So you will see it kind of tearing down the highway, which is really enough. Yeah, unoriginal username, you're exactly right. It is more about getting paramedics to the patient rather than the patient to the hospital. So, if there's, for whatever reason, a car crash where somebody might be like banged up or broken a bone, you don't need to go to the hospital for that necessarily, which means they can have this smaller, cheaper thing that's not, completely full of equipment and stretchers and have to have tons of paramedics in it. So this is just a simpler sort of small vehicle. Which is really nice for this game. Obviously, it still works the same way. It'll still drive to emergency and treat somebody there. But hopefully you'll be able to see, especially when it's responding to an emergency like this, you can just see how quick it is, just splashing all this other traffic on the highway over here. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, doctor's car comes quicker than the animal. Exactly. So this is sort of a way to do that. So I've basically gone and taken in this city, all my clinics use these instead of other ambulances. So you can select what vehicle you want for services per building. So I basically went and said all the clinics and things in the suburbs or near highways will get these fly cars so that they can respond really quickly. And then the denser areas will get the large ambulance for that. So it's kind of a fun extra sort of mechanic. You have to figure out the best vehicle for the job. And, in some places like the ambulances, it doesn't quite matter as much. But for the police, it definitely matters. For fire, it matters. And we'll get to the transit stuff later. And that, picking the right vehicle for the job becomes critical. So, cool. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of people jumping in and being like, yep, we have this in our country, which that's why it's vehicles of the world, baby. It's all good stuff. So, as we ride this ambulance through the city, you're getting to see a whole bunch of these. I've been so happy with the number of vehicles from the pack that you just see driving around. They're all over the place, which is super satisfying, to me, because I like to see my work all around the city. But it just really shows. Some regular police cars. Those I thought I made them only spawn my stuff, but whatever. Cool. So that's the fly car. And now let's see if we can find a large ambulance. These were the hardest ones to test and check and make sure everything was working, just because I had to find them and find, oh my God, wow, I'm so lucky. Maybe people just started getting sick in this city all of a sudden. But here we go. So large ambulance, which is very North American. Just because the default one, in my research for all this, I actually found the specific types of vehicle that a lot of these were based off of. Obviously right here you can see the donut van and the bug spray van. Those I don't think were based off of much, but that taxi from After Dark is clearly a Prius. But I actually found stuff that I thought was totally made up, and like the default ambulance, and I found it's a specific Japanese thing. So in this case, when that one was from Japan, and sort of looked very similar to some other Asian countries' ambulances and things, I just went and said, all right, great. So let's do a European one and let's do an American one. So this is the American one, which I think I had to design all the paint jobs and things. I couldn't rip them off one-to-one or anything like that. And this one to me just feels so realistic with the staff and the star with the heartbeat icon. It just feels really like, I feel like I could see this driving around anywhere. Japanese is a high ace. Yeah, I think the vanilla one is like a high ace sort of thing. It's actually a lot like the bug spray van, but ambulance form. Yeah, so this ambulance, we're gonna get the 360 tour. See, keep back at the back, all this kind of fine text. Come with, yeah, it's expensive, right? Got ambulance text backwards. It's got this kind of big grill. So this is kind of fun. Again, I got to kind of combine all these different designs and things and really make this pretty nice, I think. And it's big and blocky. It's got all these crazy lights. And here, if we kind of, I don't know how well we can zoom in or how well you can see those, but all the lights are all flashing and everything. And here, maybe if we go to night. Of course that disconnects me from it. But you can see, you know, all these lights going crazy. A lot of fun. So they'll get to the hospital here, or to the emergency, and pick up the patient and head back to the hospital. So it's also a really good way if you set you know, all your hospitals to the large ambulance and all your clinics to the fly car, then you can kind of see what parts of your city services are serving what parts of your city. Like, it's a really kind of neat way to do that. Ran down a kid, so hopefully they'll have another ambulance for them pretty soon. There we go. We're gonna park up and in. Looks good. You can see they actually come around to the door on the back, which was fun to get working. And yeah, there they go. So this ambulance, the acceleration is a lot worse. It's slower, but it actually has a higher top speed than the other one. So when it's on the highway or when it's in an emergency and has a nice long clear stretch of straight road, it can achieve, I think it's the second fastest vehicle I made behind the police supercar. So it can really be a good thing to respond for like a low density, sprawly sort of city. Yeah, that's it. Unoriginally same. Technical, you said elsewhere that vehicles like buses flip to the roadside. How's that achieved? They have two models. They do, and it's controlled by some submesh flags. It's the exact same way the base game does it. So you'll see whenever I show off the buses here, they're all set for left-hand drive, right side of the road. But if you were to load up a city with right-hand drive, they would be or left-hand. I never remember what they're called, because to me it's which side of the road you drive on, rather than which side of the thing. So, yeah, it's a little crazy. So, yep, it is. They're completely directional. You know, it'll always be correct, which is really nice. It does mean you get, particularly for the London bus, they look a little funky because they're mirrored from how every single one in the real life was built. But that's fine. This isn't the real life, and it's not exactly the real life London bus either. Cool. So those two are the ambulances, and then actually right behind the ambulance is our coroner's van. So this is the less sexy Hearse. So, and this is actually the first vehicle I made. You'll see there's a sort of family resemblance to the ambulance as well. It's got the same sort of hood and light designs, which was intentional. So I tried to make these work really kind of look like they could come from the same manufacturer, just like the van body versus the ambulance sort of fit. This vehicle, super useful for death waves. I've been wanting to, like, you know, since I made these a while ago, and before today, I've been like seeing people still posting like, oh, my death waves, they're so hard. I'm like, oh man, do I have the right thing for you? This is gonna be so good. You're gonna be able to, like, this thing annihilates death waves to the point where, like, I almost made it a little worse because I didn't want to have it be like wildly not balanced. But you know, it's just, I figured, you know, let's give people the ability to fix that and to deal with these. So you can fit those out. They are slow in acceleration, so they can cause a lot of traffic. You'll see that's sort of how I balanced a lot of this stuff. Now, the other hearse, the other end of the spectrum, this like crazy luxury hearse, which is a big, huge thing. It's actually based off of some like Rolls Royces and Bentleys and like really high-end cars. But obviously like a hearse conversion. So these are good. They actually hold less people than the default hearse, which is kind of funny. So if you're having death waves, these are definitely not the ones to use. But damn, they look good. And, you know, I think it's... oh, did I lag again? It's so hard to tell because I still see everything live and working. Did I lag? I think maybe a little bit. But now it says no data, but it still says... So confused. YouTube broken in some ways. Let me just check and make sure we're still seeing stuff. Sorry, I keep looking down because my other monitor's down there. Are we live? Okay, great. It's back. Sorry about all this. Still everything sorted out. But yeah, so these things are maybe not the most practical, but I figured having a whole bunch of really fancy hearses and things as like a good way to, right? Getting to switch to these is like an achievement, I think. You know, it's like a good way to kind of give a finishing touch. Like everything's working great. My healthcare and death care and like the whole city's balanced. Like I can afford to not have the coroner's van, but even the default hearse and use these, which are by all accounts like mechanically worse. They just look much nicer. So those are the hearses, and that's the healthcare and death care stuff. And now it's time for fire. So let's zoom out and see if there's just a natural fire I can grab from. There was one here right before I went live, but I think they put that one out. So I'm gonna have to set our own fire. Let's pick somewhere a little closer. It's a School of Engineering. Maybe it's time to engineer yourself some fire suppression. Alright, so hopefully as this starts burning, now it's selected their neighbor start burning. There we go, here's one. Right on cue. We've got our massive tiller truck, big articulated fire engine, which is something I actually couldn't find on the workshop. I was amazed. I thought absolutely somebody will have made this, but nobody has. I think somebody may have made it as a patron exclusive. But this is the tiller truck. Somebody asked, and this is something I've seen multiple people, is there an inbuilt vehicle selector per building now? There sure is, and here's a couple this example. So you can just see right here. I think you have to have the pack for this just because it otherwise when you only have one, I don't think it shows. But once you have Vehicles of the World, you'll get this on every single service building, and you choose them individually, which is really cool. So again, you know, I was talking about the hospitals and things. One local, not that I can see very quickly on the screen, but I set my like rural areas to have the smaller one and the urban ones, and like really nice. So this fire engine, this thing is crazy. It's got, whoop, I think it just went out of emergency mode. Building is still on fire, it says. Just chilling, just casual. Oh no, it's still blinking. A little hard to see just because everything's so bright right now. But if I make it nighttime, it's still a little hard to see. I've not tuned the graphics settings for this stream just because I'm still like mostly vanilla. But you can see it actually has working lights on the front and the trailer, which is really fun. That was something that I wasn't sure was possible, and I had to kind of delve deep into the mod tools and then had to check and make sure. So I did these all through the asset editor, but then sent them all to, submitted them all, and I think they were all rebuilt in Unity to make them all packaged right. But I had to, you know, make sure and ask, and I was like, I'm not sure I'll be able to do this, but let's find out. Now it says I'm offline again, so let's see. Come on. Be back? No data. Sorry, again, I'm sorry about this, but we're making do. We're gonna push through. We're gonna press on. Looks like we're back. I think. I hope. Yeah, we're back. Okay, cool. Again, it's really frustrating. Anyway. Yeah, so I had to keep asking, being like, are you sure this will work? And can we make sure? And like, let me know, because otherwise I'll have to make it a different model and everything. But it ended up working. So you can see here, this is another cool feature. Actually, more firemen than default. So 6 guys will pile out. And in this case, the fire hadn't really started or grown. They put it out really quickly, which is this thing's big benefit. So it actually has a large firefighting capacity. So it's kind of able to fight fires more effectively and can do multiple fires in a row, which is really nice. So that's pretty good. But for all the time it's not fighting fires, it's long. So I've had a couple ones where this will block a full intersection and it actually prevents other fire engines from getting to where they need to go. So you have to be a little careful with that. All right, so that fire didn't work quite as well as I was hoping. So I think maybe we need to set some more and or bigger fires. I don't know if setting to 10 does anything, but central station burning. Some of these nearby ones. Hopefully these trees will help ignite other nearby buildings and we can really see some fire stuff. There, now we're talking. Now that's a fire. Yep, and yeah, here comes the fire brigade squad. So these guys are all gonna pile on over, get dispatched, and you'll see now that 6 firefighters all come piling out, spraying with 3 hoses, which is more than the vanilla, and you know they'll just barely have time to walk in before, hey, the fire's out, because they're just so quick and good at putting out fires. And hey, right on cue again. Couldn't have done this better if I'd planned it. We have the complete opposite fire truck, the mini fire engine, which is hilarious. I love this thing. While technically the real one is from Japan, there's actually somebody who imported it to the United States, and it drives around San Francisco. So I need to go and figure out when they'll be going around, but it's based off of that specific one, but on an older, like, Japanese prototype. So again, this one's sort of the opposite. It does not have a very good firefighting capacity, so they'll be a little slower. And of course, it's only got 2 guys. Just drove right through. That's pretty rude. But hilariously, these 2 are to scale with each other. This is just the difference in actual size between these vehicles, which is insane. In fact, when I first got them both into game next to each other, I'm like, surely there's a mistake. But it's correct. It turns out that's the real deal. So these guys, you can see it's taken them a nice long time to put this building out, and then they're gonna have to go back to the fire station. Whoop, he's turning around. It's just a madhouse. Traffic, when you get fires and traffic tries to skip, it just becomes a little crazy. But anyway, we're just gonna go through this building and take a look again. So they'll get sorted out. Hopefully they'll get sorted out inside each other. But anyway, those are the fire engines, which I think are some of the most fun parts. It's just a crazy sort of contrast between the scale and the types of emergencies and the way they respond, which is really fun. But you can also see, 2 of these mini fire engines, like, these guys could stack up, and you can end up with times I've lit some big fires and had only mini fire engines respond to them. And you get like 4 or 5 all fighting one fire, which is really cool, and that helps that work like quickly again and put them out fast. But you can only get, 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, or if you've burned a huge building. Really happy, even though they're on fire. But you can get only a couple of the large ones, so it's the sort of thing you have to figure out what you want, the sort of right kind of style. And of course, as you can see here, we've got these 2 big fire trucks just tying up traffic like crazy. So, gotta figure out, that's balance, that's gameplay. All right, now it's time for the police, where, hey look, they're actually right here back to back. Again, we went for very big and very small. So we'll start with the small, which is kind of the vehicle that everybody thinks is the coolest in the pack, which is the police supercar, which, of course, you know, inspired by some of the stuff they have in Dubai, as well as I think Lamborghini donates one to the highway patrol in Italy every few years. So that's based off of this. That's the paint scheme I picked. And it's very cool. So yeah, he's responding to a call. Hopefully they'll be out of this traffic quickly, but obviously there's so many emergencies and things. Yeah, so kind of similar to the mini fire truck, the police supercar has to basically go back and forth to the police station between every call, which is a lot. But it's really fast. So again, if I can find one on the highway, that's probably where you'll see it be able to be going the fastest, just because there's not a ton of traffic on the highways of the city. Turn on the data view. Oh, here we go. Are you responding to a crime? No, you're just patrolling. But when they are responding to a crime without traffic in the way, you're responding to a crime. Nope, just... hopefully we'll find one. Because the speed on this thing means it can, it can cover the whole city. You're returning to station. You guys are driving. You'll be able to see it, honestly, just because they will be... There's two right here. Either of you. Patrolling. Nope. Just because they, literally like a race car driver will be, weaving through... Yeah, here we go. Responding to a call. Now we're talking. The police supercar, this is really where it gets to stretch its legs. So if your city is like this, it's, I think, one of the fastest... Whoa. It's into a big crash there. It's one of the fastest vehicles in the game now. I think maybe even the fastest default land vehicle. But it can go really quickly if you have not a lot of traffic, which is great. So... Mr. Bass is saying you use a lot of 4-lane arms. Exactly. So if you have a lot of roads or clear traffic, again, this guy can just blast past traffic. You can see he's weaving based on cars up in the road. I was so happy when this came. So I'm like, yes, this is perfect. Like when I was first testing these and seeing them drive around, it was just so perfect and exactly what I wanted it to be. So if you're building a sort of more rural area or somewhere where this, as he comes off the road here, he's still very fast on surface streets, but he'll get held up here. He's now only as fast as this yellow car in front of him. So, we'll see. Is there any reason why the Italian-based police cars in English with the Chinese rubbish truck in Chinese? I'm not perfectly consistent, honestly. Which this police car is one of the earlier vehicles in the pack before I had, decided to try to keep text to be a little more specific to their local areas, and then didn't get a chance to go back around and change it. So that's sort of why that's like that. Yeah, otherwise it probably would say Policia. But also, with that said, now that I'm thinking about it and trying to kind of justify a reason, because this was based off of specifically the ones from Dubai and Italy kind of combined, wasn't really a great sort of language there, while the ones from the garbage truck was more specifically based off of ones, particularly sectional ones from China. It's just that they're also common in other parts of the world. So that's sort of why. But yeah, anyway. So they're going in, they're going to get this bad guy, or just check. Yeah, they didn't make an arrest, they just went to a call. But yeah, so these guys kind of have to go right back to the station like this. I think in the later video I said it's a tune-up, which, honestly it might be. I might need to go and make sure this is working. It's a finicky Italian car. But yeah, so the opposite of that, this very speedy one, is, wow, there's a lot out here. But you're responding to an emergency. We've got this mobile command center. So this is something from the US. I know New York has a bunch, which the paint job is based off of that. but a bunch of other cities have them too. Basically just like RVs full of computers and antennas and stuff. So see, there's radar dishes and air conditioners on the roof. I've got big roll-up doors for storage of like barricades and things just in case you need them. There's an antenna here. I'll just zoom in so we can actually see it while we're waiting for this train. You got antennas on the back. You got antennas and radars on the top. You actually got this like roll thing on the sides, like an awning for in real life if they need to stop, and if they're setting up a camp, they'll be able to make shade. Big bull bar on the front. Obviously, lots of blinking lights as well. But this has a huge criminal capacity, so these guys can basically just be patrolling. Oh god, this is where we are in the city, isn't it? Yep. There's a couple level crossings here that, we despawned. So it looks like the bad guys got away because of the train traffic. But yeah, so these are, they're just the opposite there. So you can see load 10%. So I think this has one, maybe even two, has already made 1 or 2 arrests, and they're now heading back to the police station. So these guys can make a small police force kind of go a long way, which is really nice. But again, you can sort of see their acceleration specifically is very slow. So when they stop, they will start to back up traffic and slow traffic down. So we'll get there. Somebody asks, it'd be cool to see traffic pull over to let the police pass, but that's not currently possible. It's not on vanilla. I believe there's a mod, or was a mod teased a long time ago, that makes that work a little. But I don't have it installed and didn't work. Or not didn't work. I don't remember it specifically, but again, I'm as mod light as I could be for testing and making sure this pack worked. And because this is a preview build, not all the mods work, so I'm trying to keep this careful. See here, yeah, these guys are returning with 0 load even. Wow, 40 out of 41. No wonder we see so many police cars around there. But yeah, so those are the police vehicles. Which means now it's actually already time to get to the transit, which I'm sure most people here are excited for. Knowing my channel, it was definitely what I was most excited to make. Oh god. Telling you, that's just because I was too excited for too long. All right, so we're gonna do buses first, because they're the easiest to find. Let's turn on my transit overlay. Here we go, perfect. The Aspen Park Shuttle. This is the first route I ever used these buses on. And it's the mini bus from Hong Kong, South Africa, and kind of all over the place. Yeah, this is obviously the opposite side of the road from how the real ones are, but these things just hold 20 people and are tiny, which I love. So, you can see here, this route I've got the funding jacked up on, so, there's basically always a bus at most stops. And here's the real killer feature of these. You have 2 of them stacked into a bus stop, and traffic will still drive by. So these things can basically, they accelerate quickly, don't have the greatest top speed, but I think it's fairly average. But you can basically make this like a people conveyor belt almost of smaller things. Go to B40 coaster? Yep, the coaster was definitely one of my main inspirations for this, but you'll see some differences again. Does this have my logo on the badge? No, it's just a little. Yep, exactly. So it's kind of, Turkey has a lot of these. They're basically anywhere where this sort of thing will work, and it's great because it lets public transit kind of really reach into more rural areas. So in this case, I use these buses. You can see on the line, I actually have, 300% funding. So I can have so many buses. I probably don't need this many, actually. We can drop that down. But this Aspen Park Shuttle, I use to get people from this train station here, and they actually turn around in the train station parking lot, which I think is really cool. But I use it to shuttle people to and from this train station out into this kind of surrounding neighborhood. So they can take the train here, change to the bus, and then sort of kind of filter off to the neighborhood, or obviously do that the other way around. So those are really good. Hey, Clyte's here. Hello, Clyte. How are you? This bus, as we look at transit, all of these have signs, which would be great for Write the Signs mod. This one's the number 3 to city center. which I figure is generic enough. Should be good. You can see, yeah, the line color for these I think is really fun. It's sort of a pastel color, even, you know, regardless of the color you choose. But it's up on the roof, which is really nice. You get to see these things from a mile away, which really helps. Thank you so much, Clay. Very nice addition to the pack. I think so too. But thank you. I'm so happy to be able to show these off. And happy to have been able to. Anyway, those are the minibuses, which are, I think, kind of invaluable. The downside to them, obviously, really low capacity. So you can see the train just pulled in here, and it's gonna fill up pretty significantly just at this first stop. It's got one person on it so far, and 13 people. Like, it's more than half full already, and this isn't even a particularly busy station. So we'll be able to, you'll have to upgrade your bus size to a normal bus or bigger if you end up with extra, too many passengers. I think this is, 12. So you can tell just because I have so many buses on this is how I sort of combat that. So obviously this holds 20, the vanilla bus holds 30. We saw extra buses from the airport's DLC that are double-decker and articulated. And you actually get double-decker and articulated buses in this pack as well. Wow, that's quite the move. God, you're not allowing intercity trains to there. That's crazy. Wild. So as we kind of get closer into the city center, we're gonna have to look for big red roofs because, here we go. Oh boy, it's fire. And here we are. Here are some. Our next bus, the classic, the iconic. I know I throw the word iconic around a lot, but this might actually be the most iconic bus there is. The London double-decker. This was one of the ones, the second that, you know, I was thinking about vehicles of the world, I knew have to do the London double-decker. Have to do it. It's just too unique, but also it's something that was around forever, and then since then has kind of scattered to the four corners of the world. Like, there's, like, as I made one of these, I was on a train up from San Francisco to Sacramento, and I saw one at the side of the road. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so glad I made this. So, this thing is really fun. This is obviously the kind of Bizarro Land flipped version. If you're using the correct side of the street for these buses, they will be as correct as possible. All the signage and things will stay forwards. But yeah, so these hold, I think I made these hold 60 people? Yeah, 60. So we'll just ride around on this bus here. And that's actually a really good demonstration of its weakness. These guys are slow. They are slow. And that's the way that they're kind of made to be practical, or made to be sort of more balanced. They're actually so slow, they cannot hit like the speed limit on the highway. So they will cause traffic on the highway, just they're not designed for that, right? These are designed for city centers. They are tiny and dense, and like, see that? Everybody else gets the jump on this thing, and it holds up the taxi behind it. But, you know, where else are you gonna hold 60 people in something that on some of these bus stops on longer segments can also have two buses stack up and fit without blocking traffic, which is really nice. So these guys are perhaps a special case for when and where to use them. But obviously, you know, you can't beat the look, and it's really hard to honestly beat the practicality when you have somewhere like this. Like the Bendy Bus would hang all the way back here almost, and this has almost as many people in a fraction of the space. I think this might even be a better place to look at it. You can just really see, like, Bendy Bus is twice as long as this and only holds 10 more people. So that's how these are gonna work. And now that we're here, let's actually take a look at this Bendy Bus. So you get one nice Bendy Bus in the airport's DLC, and that one says Airport Express. This one doesn't. So, you know, you can set these per line, and of course there's nothing stopping you from saying airport buses on every route, but just in case you don't want to, I got you covered. This was actually not what I'd planned in the original pack. So the original pack was just gonna be 20. This Bendy Bus is the 21st because I realized I could make it and the Super Bendy Bus both separate vehicles. So this bus is a cool sort of model that's really useful for bus rapid transit. They're nice and fast. They actually can go highway speeds, amazingly. They hold 70 people and work really well kind of in your denser cities, like right here. Look right at home on the bottoms of skyscrapers, and elsewhere as well. Like they're really good. I use them as express buses a lot, where they'll make a few trips kind of dense in the city, and then they will shoot out to the suburbs and make the rest of their stops way out there, being able to take the highway at full speed and everything, which is really nice. Here's the downside. This is a stop on a short segment. Not the best. So, you know, maybe if I was playing This Is My City for real, you could either switch to the double-decker and it wouldn't block traffic, or you just have to be careful, and I'll just push this a little farther away to get a longer bus bay. So that's sort of the way you have to combat that. Won't like be stuck or anything now. He's good. That's the normal Bendy Bus. The whole thing is line colored, which is really cool. Well, all the orange is line colored. You'll see here as well, Clyde, that's for you, another Central Street, right the signs area. You'll also see my logo there right in the middle. And then, of course, people were asking about Presidio Bay earlier. License plate on these, PB for Presidio Bay, 1906 for 1906, the year of the earthquake. So lots of little Easter eggs to my stuff in all of these, which is fun. Does that have a plate on the back too? Yeah, it does. Also PB 1906 and also the badge. So these are fun. But let's say this isn't bendy enough for you. All right? You know, it could happen. It's possible that this might not be bendy enough for you, and you need to go bendier. Possible. Dealsworth, it's possible. You can get bendier than this. Hold 70 people, by the way. And here we go. You can see here, I've used the After Dark bus rows. This is the Super Bendy Bus, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It holds 100 passengers, so it's more than even a tram, and can go on regular streets, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because these things can cause a lot of traffic with just how damn long they are. You can see here, I've used it in a place where I've got dedicated lanes, which I think is ideal. So it doesn't really hold up a lot of traffic. It's super fast. It's super, like, we're not, you know, it's not super fast, but it's really good for these sorts of trunk routes. So this, forget the line details on my Briarwood BRT. Yeah, you can see here, it's mostly covered. Right here, or right here, yeah. This bus has 68 people because there's some stops around here are really close to metro stations. So there's a lot of movement and a lot of people that get on and off to go from metro. At this point, you might as well just invest in a tram. Yeah, well, but the thing is, though, trams can't switch to all roads. Like, if you want something that will be able to take the highway, you can't make the tram take the highway. It can go on its own little tram road, but that won't be as fast. Yeah, so, you know, at that point you might get a tram. That's definitely true, but you don't have to, which I think is really interesting. So you could do the tram. This actually holds more people than the tram as well, but it's sort of made for this specific use case, which I think is fun. So if you need to get really bendy, yeah, here we go. So you can see a train just got here and everybody's gonna pile out, and well, you know, I thought they were all gonna pile to the bus station. A bunch do, for sure. Yeah, this bus has 83 people on it, and it still left people behind at the bus stop. I was about to say at the station, which isn't quite right. But yeah, you can see, so he's kind of bringing people around. Few people get off, 76. Like any other bus in the game would be, you know, in the base game, in Airports DLC, in this pack, would leave people behind even still. And this can, you know, this can handle being something that a lot of people change from a Metro to. 54. I think when I was first doing this, there was some event going on. It was, I had these like maxed out, and these things were holding 100 people and still leaving people behind at stops. Oh, that's why it's leaving people behind. It's because multiple types of buses use this. But again, as you can see, it's holding up service vehicles, it's holding up stuff, and that's, you know, you have to be considerate of. So anyway, yeah, if you want to get that bendy. Now, next step, obviously, if you need to do more, would be to switch to trams, though, again, those hold fewer. But for this pack, because it's base game vehicles, we're going for metros. So this pack actually pairs unbelievably well with the train stations DLC, just because you get 4 new metros and 3 new trains, and it works amazingly. This, like, literally, once I got all the metros in this, I was just sitting here watching this forever. It was just so cool. All the different types. Those two are driving straight through each other, which is bizarre. Using some mods on pre-release builds and things, it's a little crazy. I just realized we can't really follow many of these here. You can just see kind of all the varieties and all the people. So let's go to a place where I've got more elevated metro stuff and see. All right, cool. Here's one. Now this one was controversial in the trailer. I said this was from Berlin, and it is. It's an S-Bahn train. People were like, what the hell? It doesn't look anything like the trains in Berlin. All right, well, fine. Watch, ready? You want it to look more like the trains in Berlin? Change the line color to red. And that looks a lot more like the trains from Berlin, which are just red and yellow, like a dark red and yellow. This is based off the brand new model they have. Take some inspiration from other European metros and things. But it's the S-Bahn because of the type of service it's supposed to use. So it has roughly 200 capacity, which is not a lot. But it's got really good sort of top speed and acceleration. It's meant to be like a regional metro. So, out in your city here, it's really good for longer, low capacity or low demand lines. So if you want to have a metro that sort of comes into, starts in a suburb, continues through, goes through the CBD, and comes out into another suburb that's pretty long, these would be a really good train for that. They're nice and fast, and they look really good doing it too. So S-Bahn, that's what it's for. And again, it's sort of using these mechanics and trying to like tweak and balance values to make these work nicely for different types of transit that people haven't really built before. So we'll get there. With this pack, we got there even. And you can now build an S-Bahn, because the metro is now the most flexible network, right? You can have elevated stations in some spots. You can have sunken, underground stations. You can have ground level stations. And with the train stations pack, you get bypasses and like all this crazy stuff. So now with that train, you can kind of have something that serves more like a train that can also make stops underground. Anyway, that's it. I'm super interested in the S-Bahn stuff. Now we've got, obviously, from London again, another transportation icon. I'm not going to say anything about this, or I'm not going to reveal what it is, because I'm sure it's obvious. All right, fine. Let's see. This is the London Underground train, based off of some of the newer S stock, I think, but obviously with a few changes as well. S8, yep, newer S stock, which is nice. It's been blue. You've always just seen it in blue, but you just kick it to red. Now it looks right, It needs that red. All of the transit vehicles and things have color maps and everything, so they'll look really nice. This metro in particular, not the greatest top speed, but really good acceleration. So, like the London Underground, when you have a lot of stops close together, this is the choice for you. So, it only holds 300 people, which is not, a tremendous amount for a metro, especially for a busier line. But like this, you can see we've got stations, just a few blocks from each other. So it gets up to its top speed nice and quickly. Sort of the opposite to that is our other one, our American one. Obviously, I had to go for my old hometown and my own full-time job even, the New York City subway. So this thing, a little bit grimier and crappier looking than the beautiful modern London stock right next to it. But this is just something I've wanted to have in the game since the very start, because to me, this is the subway and a metro and whatnot. So I'm really happy to have been able to bring it into the game. And of course, we go right underground, of course. Let's see if we can find out. I think the subway's got in this direction. Yeah, they do. So these guys, you can sort of tell already. I know I'm pausing like crazy, but they're sort of the opposite of the tube. So they have a higher passenger capacity, 400 people, but they're designed for express runs because the subway in New York has express train sections. So their acceleration is kind of bad, actually. But the capacity is 400, and they've got a good top speed. So again, if you've got a metro network with a lot of farther spread stations, this might be the right choice because you can move more people quickly and just not stop. In fact, I think, oh no, it's a different trunk. I swapped. Anyway, I've been playing around with configurations with the same metros and things just on one map, so I've been trying to figure out what the thing I've been wanting to show off about it is and where it would be. And we're going to the tunnel. Anyway, so those are 3 metros. What's the 4th? I think actually the only time it goes above ground is over here. And I apologize in advance for this crazy Pepto-Bismol pink color. Let's just change that. Orange. This is the high capacity metro from Tokyo, and inspired by a bunch of other modern ones from Japan, from China, all these other places. This one's capacity, guys. I know that the vanilla metro's low capacity is a big deal, so it holds 500 people, which is a lot. So this thing can just like clear away crowded platforms. Even this only holding 3 right now, but it can hold 500. And that's because it's 7 cars long. You know, it's end to end of the platform as well. I had to give a little bit of a nod to those kind of famous scenes from train stations and things in Japan of having to push people onto the trains and things. So it's all very high capacity. I balanced them with the M100 for Metro overhaul. Roughly, the M100 actually uses, I think, much more close to the old default Metro stats because it was supposed to kind of be a drop-in replacement for that. So these are sort of balanced to a slightly different version, but pretty close to that. Anyway, so this is based on a hybrid design of a few Japanese and Asian metros. I love the kind of bubble front, which goes all the way, it's sort of hard to tell, but it kind of bubbles up on the roof. I love the paint job of this. It's really cool too. Like, I don't know, I keep wanting to come up with better stuff that sounds more interesting than just like, it's cool. But that's kind of the stuff that I love about this is it's like really nice and detailed. It holds 500 people, which is just a lot. And hopefully it'll be really useful. I have these on my airport line just because there's a time where my airport was just, I don't know. When I was testing these, I think maybe I shut down these stations and things and was just having to move thousands of people on this line. Just thousands and thousands. So I thought the high capacity would be the right fit for that, and just looks good doing it too. I love the full body color. So all the metros as well, I want them to look unique. So we've got full body color on these. We've got just on the signs for the New York ones, they'll always be silver. You've got the doors and the ends for the London Underground, and you've got the sort of lower body stripe for the S-Bahn Train. So they're all really different looking from far away. Hopefully you'll be able to kind of tell, you can see from here, that's the high capacity one. When we fly back over, there we go. You can see from up here already, you get the doors only. It's like, okay, great, that's the Underground. New York subway is obviously the shiny bare metal silver one. And then the S-Bahn has its own kind of unique shape, especially with the colors and with the fact that it's just 2 like car types. It's 3 pairs of 2. Yeah. Beijing trains are doing that. And look nice. Yeah, those are, definitely. I should make a pack based on Toronto Transit Commission vehicles, especially. Toronto stuff, Canadian stuff is definitely something I've wanted to make. Some of the vehicles here are inspired from some Canadian things, mostly service stuff. Berlin capacity, Berlin Metro, the S-Bahn train is just 200 people. It's meant as more of like a regional thing. It's an S-Bahn, so maybe wider scale, like, you know, goes to two farther distances from your CBD than your main, your kind of core metro network. Is it Berlin one a 2-car set IRL? I believe it's a 3-car set, but I wanted to just do the 2 cars because, again, I really wanted these to be easily seen and easily spotted from far away, which is the decision for a lot of these different things. Were some Sydney trains were in this, or even just trams? Yeah, I was really hoping to get to do some Australian stuff, but in trying to balance these and make them all look right, it was I had to do a lot. Apologize for this sort of term, but it's kill your babies, which, like, things you were really excited about and wanted to do, you have to say, no, I'm not going to do them. But yeah, those were definitely some Australian stuff, and Sydney stuff was definitely stuff I was hoping to get to make. But again, this was a couple months of full-time work, including weekends, and, you know, I finished it just in time for the deadline and everything too. So I wanted to, you know, any more. I would have done more if I could. Hey, $20 for this. You've been in the... I've seen you posting, Joseph Lambert. I've seen you post and be like, it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for me. All of a sudden, it's $20. I'm teasing you a little. But yeah, leaving the LRT Transit option to the game. There is a tram, which you can use as light rail. So that's another sort of thing. It's like, with the same transit type, you can choose what you want it to be. So, like, you can do bus rapid transit with the Super Bendy Bus. You could do an S-Bahn with Metro, or a traditional Metro with Metro, or, you know, a hybrid using the bypass stations and things, and all possible. So that's kind of a fun extra part of this. And now, last but definitely not least, in fact, my favorite part, so maybe last but most, trains. Of course, trains. It's always trains with me. We'll start off with the bullet train. Again, truly iconic. So, lower capacity than default. This just holds 200 people, but it's got crazy acceleration and really good top speed. The best way, actually, here, I'll do this, because I sort of stockified this almost. The best way to see the top speeds is if you happen to have the Bridges and Piers pack and you use this high-speed rail viaduct. So if you were to upgrade your bridges and viaducts for this to this high-speed rail one, you get even faster bullet and high-speed trains, which is awesome. So let me just upgrade these real quick. Just keep it playing while we upgrade them. Obviously, this only works for elevated, which I figure is sort of fair, and it's kind of balanced, so you'll have to build the more expensive viaducts if you want to unlock this sort of high speed. Well, Mod Tools, what are you complaining about? Kind of don't care. But you can see here, so once we hit the high speed, oh yeah, he's starting to speed up. Whoa! That was weird. This train's made nice and fast, and then he'll slow down for the normal one. I think when you upgrade stuff, they all get confused. But we'll just we can keep this bullet train on this high-speed rail viaduct all the way. On PlayStation. Well, if you're on PlayStation, you get to use these if you get the Vehicles of the World pack. And the bridges, of course, here come from the Bridges and Keys pack. I'm just using them here because this goes really well with Bridges. This pack goes really well with Bridges and Keys, and it goes really well with train stations too, which is Bad Peanuts pack. Both the most recent packs. You know, I was definitely taking a lot of not inspiration, but like I wanted to really make sure this added stuff to the game in as many places and in as many ways as it could, and having it kind of play really nice with other packs was a really good way to do that for me. We get these fancy viaducts in all the way to end. Of course, some stations respawning. That's fine. This route. Cool. Some minor backups from this potentially overstressed train track. Let's see, we're gonna not use the high speediness of some of this, and it's in. Oh goodness! See, this is why you just always need to be careful of upgrading. Rail. What's gonna happen with you? Hopefully it'll despawn. But yeah, so let's go find a bullet train now. Oh my god, you can just see this is single speed, and you can just see how fast it is compared to the traffic, compared to everything else. Both these trains can go above the traditional speed limit, and now if we come and pull in over here, which is regrowing nicely after our big fire, you can see that they will. He's accelerating, and yeah, there we go. So these two left at the exact same time, and you can see the difference in acceleration. So we have a lot of stops. The bullet train, you know, it can get up to speed. It's still kind of pulling a bigger gap to this TGV here. Even all the way to where they separate, it's just getting farther and farther away, which is really nice. So maybe not the best for a super crowded line because it only holds 200, just because it's single decker and a little more luxurious than the default train, so it only holds 200. But it's fast, and it's got fast acceleration. Next up, of course, you know, we just raced it, so let's take a closer look at our TGV, which is a TGV duplex. It's technically just called the high-speed train in-game, but it's a TGV Rousseau duplex. Sort of freelanced a little bit, obviously kind of inspired paint job. You get 311 again, of course, my birthday. We'll look at the shadow side just because I didn't nail the lighting settings for the bright side of stuff. I love the look of these kind of retro high-speed trains, which is why I went retro for both of them. So, you know, it's really nice. You get all sorts of cool stuff. You get the pantograph, which is, you know, extra detailed. I actually pulled this partly from one of my workshop models, so it's, you know, workshop quality, which is really fun. So yeah, all this stuff I'd be proud to release on the workshop. And it all looks good. It's all got the same exact techniques I use for workshop assets, and so they're like they're weathered. You can see it's a little subtle right here, but they've got kind of realistic materials on them and things, which is exciting. So yeah, even at 1 speed, that just rips past. I think these hold 300 people. Yeah, 300 in these 4 cars, and still very fast. So TGV, high-speed train, nice double-decker thing. And of course, those are the 2 fast trains, and we have to have something to compare it to, which I haven't seen spawn in a little while, but they were around at one point. Still derailed. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll take train line 4, give that to the commuter train. Make it. It's like industry line 1. There we go. So that despawns. That'll hopefully unclog. And now you'll see the thing from the thumbnail of this. And the last asset to show off, the American commuter train, of course. I had to. This is sort of a personal tribute because an American commuter train with the locomotive number 903, I believe, was my first ever City Skylines asset, so I knew I had to make it. This is based off a hybrid of a bunch of sort of really successful East Coast commuter railroad routes from the US. It holds 400 people, but slow. You can see, again, this is single speed. You can just watch that TGV just absolutely rip past. Slow to accelerate, low top speed, but can move a lot of people, so it's very useful in that regard. 3 unique models for this, so, you know, other different things have different numbers of models and things. It's electric, obviously, all trains in this game are, so I had to combine. I think the model I based the engine off of is a diesel train in real life, but I had to, you know, improvise and come up with more rooftop electrics and details for that. Cool paint job. Again, paint job, it's based off of the first ever asset I made for City Skylines, which was fun. And yeah, I love the way this looks and turned out. I love the stripe that bounces up and down over these double-decker cars. which of course each hold 100 people, which is actually low compared to the real life capacity. But anyway, all set up. And at the end, you actually have a cab car, which has functional headlights and things for when it's in reverse. And it just all looks so good. And having the variety, having the choice, having the ability to kind of pick the right vehicle for your network and be like, I need this to be faster. Or, you know, in this case, we've got a mixture of TGVs and commuter trains. And obviously stuff is spawning right now, so it's being held up. But like, maybe I shouldn't be using those TGVs because I'm gonna get caught behind the American commuter train. Right? So it's like, you gotta figure out what you wanna do. You gotta plan for it. A bullet train would get caught even harder behind these. So, you know, maybe it would make sense to have two parallel lines, one high-speed line, one commuter line, or to try to limit these things to different stuff or different use cases. But that's the sort of extra kind of gameplay. You have to figure out what would be the best, or like, you know, I'm putting one of the most fun things, I don't know if it'll sync up, but like watching the bullet train get hammered when the stadium events are starting. And there's concerts, DLC stuff in here too. So you can like have to figure out, how do I plan for these crush loads without, you know, I've got the bullet train on this route, but I think I bumped the funding up so you get extra trains because that can carry enough people. But like, I guess one game just ended, but like this bus stop is pretty full. So I've got to figure out, you know, do I want to increase the funding? Is it a mini bus line? Is that why it's so crowded? Yeah, look, so see this now, like, this is a great example of this. If I look at my line details, and see, I hope this isn't a mod. I don't think it is. But you can see I've got 280 people waiting at this stop for a bus line with just six mini buses on it. So it's like, maybe this actually, even though this is just this little circulator that just goes back and forth through this neighborhood to this train station, like, maybe the mini bus isn't the right choice, or I had to invest more in this. So in this case, I'll go and I'm going to swap this to double-deckers. So they will hopefully start to see double-decker buses come through very soon. And those will be able to hold 3 times as many people as these minibuses. And because I didn't change the funding, it's the same price for me. It's just using different, you know, the same number of drivers and things using different vehicles. So gotta like right size these and pick the right things for each, and you can ignore that and be like, I'm building London, so I'm only going to use the London bus. Or you can really, like this, you know, you'd never see the bullet train running right next to the TGV in real life, but right here it works super well because they each serve a different purpose, which again, that's just what I'm most excited for in all of this. So hopefully see some double-deckers start to come through to start hauling people away. Are you? Yep. So here we go. Here's our first double-decker bus on the Mulberry Circulate. You can already see it's 60 people. So we might even need to invest more in this route already. Oh my God, there's 60 people from here too. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because stuff is stacked up because the buses were changing, so there was a delay, but yeah, that's just really exciting. Anyway, that's all 21 vehicles. I'm planning on streaming it for another like 10 minutes or so. So if anybody has any questions, I will just jump around and take a look at, you know, whatever you guys want me to take a look at. We can, if anybody missed the beginning, let me know, and we can quickly take a look at some other stuff. If anybody has any questions, what stuff's based off of, where it's from, anything like that, I am so excited to finally be able to share it all, honestly. So feel free, let me know any questions. Let me know if you want to find anything else out. And if not, we'll just chill for 10 minutes. We'll take a look at this city, and then we'll be out of here. Gotta get these buses to come back. Selyang, sound tuner mod for make transit vehicles have real sounds. How does it work? I'm assuming you're talking about my workshop stuff, which has some real sounds. That's just a specific mod that this all works with. Interesting set. I don't have a set of vehicle effects files. It's called vehicle effects. I don't have a set of vehicle effects files for this yet. I'm hoping to get that ready soon after release. You need more bus. So I'm actually am going to test more in this bus route. Double funding. 199 is fine. Cool. Wondering where this was on Steam. This is, if you go to the City Skylines page and look for the DLC, this is a paid content creator pack. It'll be, I think, $5. It comes out on Tuesday. And some of the money, if you do buy it, some of it does go to me. All the creator packs, buying it supports the original creator. So take a look. You can search Vehicles of the World on Steam, just on the store page. I think you could even search Besquikehlhausen, since I've been like incredibly set up as the developer. So I've got like a Steam developer page now, which is crazy. There we go. This just picked up 54 people from that stop. So hopefully this could start making a dent. Cool. What's the American train based off of? It's based off of a handful of East Coast commuter trains in the US. So some New Jersey Transit, some MBTA, some MARC from Washington, D.C., New Jersey Transit from the New Jersey, New York area. Some of the paint jobs and things are inspired by other stuff. A little bit of it takes from some stuff out here on the West Coast. I had to stick with East Coast, more East Coast stuff, just because of needing it to be electric. But yeah, based off that stuff. What's the New York City's train based off of? I assume you're talking about the New York City subway, which is around here somewhere. That's just based off of a handful of different legacy New York City subway cars. So, with them. R42, which was just retired, the R46, the R68. It's a pretty common sort of design, some R62 in there with the side fluting. It's just, again, it's a hybrid of a bunch of different elements that I liked from all sorts of stuff. Why no trucks? There are trucks. Here's one. There's a garbage truck. There's fire trucks. You're talking about like commercial trucks and things. These were made for base game services and transit things that have this selector in them. So we wanted to make sure that you will be able to choose and see this stuff right away when you get the pack and really be able to use it to shape your city. There's nothing like that for just generic traffic in the game, so I stayed away from generic traffic for this one. With that said, though, if you want extra stuff, like part of the reason I got to do this pack is because people were asking for extra vehicles and things for a long, long time. So keep talking, keep making your voice heard. Maybe even I'll get to do another one, or maybe one of the other great creators of vehicles on the workshop, like Ninja Noob Slayer or somebody else, would be able to do trucks and, like a traffic overhaul creator pack next time. I don't know what the future plans are. They haven't done nobody's done 2 packs so far. But if they offered, I'd definitely at least consider it. I need to figure out how much time I have, considering I have a new full-time job now. But yeah, so that's why there's no traffic vehicles are changed in this. And no DLC stuff either, so no trams, no monorails, anything like that. Just so everybody gets the exact same set of 20 vehicles. Nothing's like paywalled behind other DLCs, which would be kind of a bummer if you're like, oh, I just bought this pack of 30 vehicles. Oh, I can't use 10 of them. You'll be able to download this. Even if all you own is the City Skylines base game and Vehicles of the World, you'll be able to use stuff. It'll be good. Ninja, did you retire? Oh, I had no idea that Ninja retired. Anyway. He made really good stuff. Who knows? Maybe they'd be able to coax him back. When the airport DLC come out, will I make an international airport or a small airport? I'm gonna make all the different sizes of airport there are. It's very fun. I actually, this save actually has the airport DLC stuff in it, or this game. So I've gotten the opportunity to play around with a little bit of it, and let me tell you, this is the sort of thing that it's not very often that a DLC gives me this is a next gen experience, like next gen city builder experience. But I'm just so excited about what potential futures in city building could be with stuff like this, where you can set up other, all sorts of I'm just imagining man, we have that for parks now, we have it for campuses. I'd love to see that for dedicated CBDs where you could place big, huge buildings or modular train stations or all this stuff. It's just so much fun. So I built cities with multiple airports in them. Even like you could just do that. Oh god, sorry. Sorry. Anyway, I can't read your name quite. Chiaki777 asks, do I need to take into consideration how my vehicles look over vanilla cars since they're so much more vibrantly colorful? I did. So the art direction and everything of this was completely decided by me. So it's not, I got to make all this stuff, then sent finished models. So I basically had I pitched this and I wrote a list down of here's the 20 at the time vehicles I thought I was going to make before realizing I could just make the Bendy Bus and the Super Bendy Bus both. And then to try to I made the match. So, I try to make them look more like, they don't quite look the same as the day one cars, but some of the more recent DLC stuff they look really similar to. And I try to maybe take it a step higher fidelity and a step kind of closer to reality and everything, but I hope they match well enough. They're a little more vanilla-esque than I would have done if it was a workshop piece of content, but I think they all match. I did tone down the colors. I think especially this Jeep, you can see I try to match the red closer to some of the older traffic. These buses, by the way, they're always red. The line color is just this stripe, so it's kind of a fun sort of always red icon stuff. Using greens, building New York City on my Xbox and using green cities. Will the New York City Metro fit in? It will, but you have to make sure you get the Vehicles of the World pack. So this is not going to be free content. It's $10. Not $10. Geez, it's $5. Some of that money does go to me, which I'd appreciate. I'd love the support. It's a great way to kind of give back to the creators who made the packs, and again, in this case, it's me. So I'd really appreciate it if you pick this up. And obviously, if it sells well, the chances of more vehicle packs in the future go up a lot. I think we'd be more likely to see that stuff in the future. So, yeah. The hardest vehicle to make in terms of effects, absolutely the fire truck. The large fire truck, which of course won't spawn right away. 100% the large fire truck. The game was not really meant for fire trucks to have trailers and things. That we had to kind of really get under the hood with some fancy mod tool stuff, and I was in contact with some of the people at Paradox and at Colossal, trying to get them in game and just making sure that was the one I was pretty sure I had to do the most hacks to get to work. So I was pretty sure that if there was going to be one that was ooh, this you can't do this, we're not gonna let you do that, it was going to be that. So I'm really happy it made it in the game untouched and with all the features. So you have flashing lights and things on the front and the back, which is really cool. Am I going to make the R211 subway car for City Skylines? Eventually. I know somebody's already made a really nice model of the realistic full one, but I am going to make a one that's closer to my style and match the rest of my fleet. In fact, just because I can. I think I have my R32 installed here. Yeah, I do. It's really nice, so I'll just get that spawned. But yeah, somebody has already made the R211, so if you need it right now, you can get it. Can I make a mode where cars don't fly to parking spots in a parking garage so they can so they can use just ramps? Unfortunately, I don't know how to do that. Wish I did, and if I did, I would. But I do not know how to do that, so I can't. Other people might be able to. Might not be possible. I know that the vehicle AI, even though we see stuff drive through each other, even though we see stuff kind of be a little buggy sometimes, it's one of the most sophisticated parts of the game, and a lot of people are like, fix the traffic, make the traffic AI better. This is, I've used some professional, yeah, there's the R32. I've used some professional software, traffic modeling software and things, and City Skylines, bizarrely, is up there in terms of how well it models traffic, and to do it at this sort of scale, at this sort of speed as well, is nothing short of really impressive. So I think some skips, like how they drive to parking spots, do have to be some compromises like that do have to be made. Yeah. Well, I suggest using the Airport Express buses for not airport routes. You can. You can. There's nothing stopping you. I don't think I will, just because I prefer to keep them kind of unique, and they say Airport Express on them. Huge. So I'm going to keep them not like that. And also because with Vehicles of the World, if you get that pack, which again supports me with some money, you get double-decker and bendy buses, same as Airport Express stuff, but without saying Airport Express. So you absolutely can, and if you want to, go for it. They hold different people. They've got different acceleration values and things, so they're balanced a little differently as an option. But I'm going to recommend you use these bendy buses and double-deckers. Yeah, it's really cool. The sports AI and the cargo AI is not great. One container. I think I understand you saying the sports and cargo AI. Yeah, I mean the sports seat that's just an animation. That's just a stock animation that it uses, and they do play other. Right, it'll come up with another name. Let's generate another one, which is pretty cool. And the cargo AI is not great. Yeah, I have noticed though, more stuff is coming in fuller with this update and DLC than I'd noticed before. I don't know if that's officially part of the changelog or anything, but and it might just be this city. But you know, this city I think is pretty well balanced in terms of what it needs and everything. But you know, half full, I guess 20% full is not super. You're leaving 60% full. You're 30% full. So yeah, maybe not, but yeah, here we go, 100% full. Like, you know, I've definitely noticed 50%. I'm not seeing as many 1% full stuff anymore. 33, you know, even clicking through all this, 33 again. Guess you're, yeah, 7. Okay. Not seeing it as much, okay? Here's yeah, transporting cargo, owner cargo train terminal. He's coming over to here. So that, in that case, it didn't spawn until it was fully loaded. But yeah, I mean, here, can we see these ships? 92%, 93, 100%. So I think something might have changed kind of behind the scenes. But I don't quite know, 100 people there. Keep your eyes peeled for the changelog to see. I haven't noticed anything. This plane, 40 people out of 200, so I have no clue. Right. K. Malcolm asks, how long did it take to design and program? All told, from the kind of first time when I said, yes, I'll do this, and put first pen to paper to the final delivery was probably 4 months. The bulk of the work was 2 months of 8 or more hour days, all manually, like all modeling stuff, doing the renders for the thumbnails, doing the like importing, doing all the texturing. It was a lot. Real quick though, man, isn't this just worth it? The fact that this, with all this variety in trains, you know, we got three different trains all parked up here at this big fancy station. This is all like creator pack stuff, which is really cool. They all lead. Oh, it's so good. Ooh, this TGV, he should have left earlier because he's now going to be stuck behind this guy the whole way out. Anyway, I hope you get railway signaling with CS2. I kind of do, I kind of don't. Honestly, I feel like if I wanted to play a railway signaling game, I'd go and play Transport Fever, or I'd go and play Transport Tycoon. Like, so much of this, I just want to go really quickly. No, what I'm saying is that when a boat comes or a train comes in, the crane will only pick up one container. It look like the... Yeah, I mean, I guess that's AI. That's just like a baked animation, which is, you know, I think it's fine. Yeah, I mean, consider, guys, most of the time, the fact that we're zooming in, like, this close of a zoom is a mod. When I hit tab and go in closer, that's another mod. Like, you play this game from, like, this far out, which, again, this is one aspect of why I tried to make these look so different from the top. The trains are maybe another good example. We've got a white roof on the bullet train. We got the black roof on the TGV, and we've got the silver roof on the commuter train. But yeah, you know, you're meant to play it from this far away where those sorts of things can't really tell. So I don't know. I think it's fine. Unrelated, but have you heard of the Chaos and Harmony mod drama? And if so, what are our thoughts? Have heard of it. I actually was getting a little puzzled through. I was trying to load in with Harmony. I don't really know. I think generally speaking with big mods, I'm lucky enough that I'm doing assets where there's much less drama, but I generally think, you know, if the creator is still active and still working on stuff, you should help them instead of trying to replace them. But that's just my full thought on, or, you know, whatever my thought is on that. You'll be building a city with 100,000 people. What's the best train and metro? Well, this city has 160,000 people now, and I use all of them. So I'm just gonna say all of them. Just like be aware of your lines and the use, and like you can click line details or go to line details. You can see right here, you know, we've got trains on this route with more than 300 people on them, which means this train's probably the right way to go, right? Because this is the only one that can hold more than 300 people, which means, you know, 10 vehicles can move everybody. A place if you get to go down as a person or even a car. Oh, that's true. You can't go even closer. That's right. I forgot about that. But yeah. Yeah. So here you can see again, this is like an express train. It only makes 2 stops, but it runs pretty full a lot of the time. So it's probably a good idea that I'm using this train and not the bullet train, which holds even fewer people. So if you're building a big city, pick and choose what your stuff. Geez. Pick and choose the vehicle types because they're different. Like you get to right size your fleet again, and that's something you've never been able to do before. You can either just skin it or you can make it really nice. This line probably has too many vehicles on it. Hey, Scott, I'm gonna not do this. Spamming. I'm out. Why isn't it working? There we go. Functional opera house theaters. Yeah, that'd be cool. More functional stuff like that. I mean, we have like, I think what's very cool is like with this the what is it called? There's like it's just called like the Stadium Pack or whatever. But or match day, yeah, which is a free DLC. You do get this. Free transit, 30, whatever. Do all those. And with that, with campus, you get events. With, you know, lots of these DLCs have events and things, which, you know, may not be an opera house, but it'll work. Hi, Pops Time, how are you? I'm trying to think if any of these would fit into your incredible builds, and I think, unfortunately, you're just on too much of another level for any of my assets. But hopefully you'll find a way that you can enjoy Vehicles of the World as well. I think there is something for everybody. Fun. Why did I complete the asset rather than Unity? That's how I was asked to, and because we needed to make sure it all worked in the asset editor for people to be able to. I think you can modify these and things. So yeah, that's it. There's no secret reason. It's just I wanted to. You know, that's what I had access to, and good lord, if I also had to learn Unity to make this, I would not have been able to do funny vehicles and things. That would have been a lot. Dubai's using Bugatti police cars. Yeah, they've got a bunch of wild police cars, which is just nuts. I think they're mostly for show, but it's crazy out there. Church services, temple services, wedding, funeral. Yeah, that would be kind of a cool thing to see. We've got the death care stuff. You know, I see a bunch of hearses driving around. K-Pen's excited about the New Jersey Transit thing. Like New Jersey Transit, you know my style. And, you know, I definitely can't use real brands for this. But yeah, it's based off of some New Jersey Transit type stuff. Definitely part of the inspiration. Anyway, Roblox games, I'll see you later. And actually, everybody, I will see you later. Streaming for a while. Ooh, everybody's sad. Did you just lose a sports? Everybody's sad. This concert just get like canceled or something? I don't know. I think maybe we just lost out of sports. I don't know. Who knows why everybody got sad all of a sudden. It's really sad after I said I was leaving. Anyway, yeah, here's the concert stuff. This puts a lot of stress on my local transit option. Again, it's so fun to like get to figure all this out. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably be playing more with this sort of mostly Vanilla City even anyway. But yeah, that's it. The music even just like stopped hard. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Please get the pack if it's interesting to you. There's a lot of fun stuff in it. 21 vehicles, $5. That's 25 cents per vehicle, or under US at least. That's a pretty good deal. I'm gonna tell you that. That's a pretty good deal. That's a quarter. Would I rather have 21 gumballs or 21 vehicles for Skylines? My vehicles will keep their taste for longer. Yes. Do with that. Thank you guys all for watching. I will be back soon with Presidio Bay, with maybe some more streams and different games things, and with maybe even another stream of vehicle stuff on launch day on Tuesday. I've got work, so who knows? And I do not do enough planning ahead anyway. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Check out the pack on Steam, or PlayStation or Xbox. Buy it if you can. And thank you. See y'all later. Bye.